Okay, so this speech is going to be about whether or not we should abolish the Electoral College. So as you probably all know, Trump won this past election because of the Electoral College, while Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million. And because of this, people were suggesting we move to a national popular voting system. But I'm going to tell you the reasons why I believe we should keep the Electoral College. So the Electoral College creates the need for a candidate to have a broad-based following, and it reduces the incidence of recounts and fraud. It gives the president a sense of legitimacy, and it tends to prevent the rise of extremist groups. So these are the reasons we need to keep the Electoral College. So the candidates need a broad-based following. The purpose of the Electoral College is to balance voting power, so no one region has too much control. So if elected by a popular vote, a candidate who is really popular in one region can ignore the smaller regions. For example, a candidate who's really popular in California or New York can just ignore the flyover country. And as of right now, under the Electoral College, no one region contains the absolute majority of electoral votes, which is 270, as William Kimberly, who is the Deputy Director of the Federal Election Commission, pointed out. The Electoral College also reduces the incident of recount and fraud. National recounts would be a consistent possibility under a national popular vote system because of the likelihood of multiple candidates, smaller individual total votes, and smaller margins between candidates. And any suspicions would cause recounts because every additional vote a losing candidate could get could make the difference between winning and losing. But as Hans Vygotsky pointed out, even if they could pick up an extra vote, it would not change the results of the electoral vote in that particular state under electoral college that we currently have now. And the former FEC chairman, Bradley Smith, said that recounts may have been necessary as in as many 6 presidential elections since 1880 if a national popular voting system had been in place. That's nearly 1 in every 6 elections. And the current voting system makes it difficult to predict where stolen votes may make a difference. In a direct popular national vote, any stolen vote would have some effect, therefore creating more incentive for fraud. And under the Electoral College, they had the least incentive for fraud. So it also gives the president a sense of legitimacy. The winner-take-all rule under the Electoral College right now tends to magnify the margin for the victory, and the victor gets a certain election outcome. Historically, most elections haven't been close in the Electoral College, even if they have been in the popular vote. For example, the election in 1960, JFK won the popular vote by 49.7% compared to Nixon's 49.5%. But JFK won the electoral vote by 303 compared to Nixon's 219, with the third party picking up another 15. And of the 30 elections we've had since 1900, 17 presidents have been elected by winning with a margin of 200 votes or more. So the Electoral College also tends to prevent the rise of extremist groups. So if we didn't have the Electoral College, we probably wouldn't have the two-party system. And if we didn't have a two-party system, more people would run for president. Therefore, everybody's vote would be spread out, and the president would only win by 20 to 25% of the total vote. So it would be easier for extremist groups to rise to power. For example, this election, the Republican primary had 17 candidates run. And even though Donald Trump did win the nomination, he only got a total of 14 million votes, compared to 16 million votes that were spread out across the other 16 candidates. So 16 million people voted against him, but he still won the nomination, therefore making it easier for extremist groups to rise to power if we had a national popular election. So because the Electoral College has worked fairly well for over 200 years, I don't think we should get rid of it. And we're talking about like having a broad-based following. Here's a map of all the states Donald Trump won, and to break it down, here's a map of the counties he won. So he had a pretty broad-based following. And then these just do the percentage of each state and how they voted. So the purpose of Electoral College is for candidates to achieve a consensus among the country, reduce the need for recounts and fraud. It gives the president a sense of legitimacy, and it stops the rise of extremist groups. And after the 2000 election, and even more so this one, many people have been calling to amend the Constitution and institute a national popular voting system. But I believe this would cause a majoritarian rule and many other major problems, so I do not believe we should abolish the Electoral College. But I do believe if people have a serious concern about the Electoral College, we should first try to reform it instead of